on the recently reported numbers from the NITI Aayog, which have been quoted not just by the Prime Minister, but the entire ecosystem and large sections of the media, without asking the relevant questions that should be asked of this. The latest jumla in a list of jumlas that we will see up until elections is the fact that 24.82 crore people have been lifted out of poverty. The truth cannot be further away from this. And the reality is that nobody knows how NITI Aayog has arrived at these numbers. It has changed the established criteria how it's calculated. Neither the World Bank nor the IMF have cited any third-party stories. This was an estimate done by the NITI Aayog. The report was prepared by them. The survey was done by them. It has been reported by them also. But the situation on the ground, the reality on the ground is extremely stark. And the reality on the ground is extremely different from what the numbers report. And there are only 4 pillars to exposing this blatant lies of the BJP and its ecosystem and also the NITI Aayog's report. If people are less poorer, why are they consuming less? If indeed there are only 11.7% people who are poor in this country, which is roughly 15 crore, why does free ration have to be distributed to 80 crore people? NITI Aayog has not taken help of any third party. Neither the World Bank nor the IMF have supported these numbers. And why has the NITI Aayog done away with the established criteria how poverty is calculated and tracked worldwide? So let's begin with point number 1, and very briefly, consumption in this country is down to 4.4% from the previous fiscal of 7.7%. Why? Because people are buying less. Anybody who's better off, anybody who's less poorer will buy more. And especially things of FMCG, the fast-moving consumer goods like soap, like shampoo, like oil, like toothpaste. But companies who make those products like HUL or ITC or Britannia who sells biscuits are constantly reporting stagnant sales growth. If people are better off, if people are less poorer, why are they not buying these things? Why is consumption so low? Consumption, which is 60% of our GDP. If indeed 29.1% poorer have been reduced to now 11.7%, why is the government forced to give free ration to 80 crore people? The reality is that the government has to do this because if it does not give them the safety net, people will die of hunger. And the government should do this. Why have criteria been changed? Multidimensional poverty index essentially says that if a toilet has been constructed, it doesn't then matter whether you have access to food and nutritious food, you are no longer poor. If 5 households in a village are electrified, the village will be considered electrified. You are no longer poor. These are the loopholes in this report. And let's talk about established criteria. During the UPA period, 27 crore people were lifted out of poverty. And we did not claim that. We did not do a survey. There was a third-party survey that was done, which was endorsed by the World Bank, and they said 27 crore people in the history of independent India have been lifted out of poverty for the very first time in those numbers. But here, the NITI Aayog has done the survey. They have done the estimates, they have prepared the report, they have released it, and right from the Prime Minister to the entire ecosystem is just going to sing peons of that survey. Whereas the reality on the ground is in sharp contrast. Because if you go by the reality on the ground, the survey essentially establishes there is no unemployment. The reality is unemployment, high prices, income inequality, lower wages, extreme poverty. 23 crore people were pushed into poverty during the COVID times. What happened to those people? Are any questions being asked? And last but not the least, the reality of this report, the reality of these numbers is that there is an entire conspiracy being hatched against the poor of this country. Because very soon, close to 25 crore people who have now been declared not being poor will be taken out of the safety net that the government offers to the poor. They will very soon stop getting subsidies. They will no longer get free ration. They will be taken out of the government security net, the safety net, which any welfare state offers to its poor people. And that's the conspiracy that we are worried about. So it's easy to sit in your echo chambers. It's easy to sit in those AC rooms. It's easy to sit in those sky-high buildings and prepare reports like these. But the only thing that we want to say from this platform right here is that this is a conspiracy being hashed against the poor. Stop making a joke of yourselves. Stop making a joke of India's middle class. Stop making a joke out of India's poor. Because the reality is your policy formation will happen on these numbers. And these numbers are grossly misleading.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.